What is going on, folks? Jacob coming at you with another video. And in this one, we are answering the question that pops up all the time. And it's, Jacob, my Facebook group is dead. What do I do? Okay, we're gonna dive into that in this one. And I'm gonna give you 5 tips that you can go and implement today that should really shake things up for you and allow you to extract a lot more money from your Facebook group. Okay, now just so you know that you're listening to somebody who actually knows what they're talking about when it comes to groups. I started my community in 2018. We've built a 7-figure info business with the Facebook group at the core of it. There's been not more than a few months since 2018 that I haven't been in there creating content, selling stuff, generating leads, and just using it as a key pillar of our business. At the time of filming this, we use it really in conjunction with email as nurturing platforms for people that have raised their hand and come into our world, right? Like through the link that you'll see in the description below. We use it to get to know those people better, to make them offers and ultimately convert leads into buyers. Okay, we do that day in and day out. All right, so with that all said, we're gonna pull up the computer. I wanna talk to you about this at kind of a 30,000 foot overview. Then we're gonna go into some more particular strategies and tactics that you can start deploying to really juice up your Facebook group starting today. All right, before we jump into it though, be sure to subscribe to the channel if you have not already. Click the like button, it really helps with the YouTube algorithm. Let me know if you have any questions or comments below. Let me know what's going on with your Facebook group. I'd be interested to hear. And with all that said, let's jump into the computer. We'll dive into it. All right, folks, what is going on? Let's jump into this one without any delay. So as I mentioned off the top, we're talking about and answering the question, my Facebook group is dead. What should I do? Okay, now I've got 5 tips that I'm gonna walk you through, but before we jump into those, I want you to understand some fundamentals when it comes to running a Facebook group, right? A Facebook group is not a quick overnight play, right? There is an investment in time involved. It is a place where you're going to be creating content, and really kind of like email marketing, you're going to be using it as a core pillar of your business for the long term. Okay, there's definitely some tactics and strategies out there where you can kind of quickly launch a group, make some money, and then close it down. But the type of Facebook group that we're talking about here is one that becomes a longer term core pillar of your business. Okay, so you need to think about it with that longer term approach. All right, so if you're watching this going, oh, it's dead and it's only been open for like a month, chill out a little bit. You'll still get value from this video, but just keep a longer term perspective. As I said in the start, I started mine back in 2018. We're still here in February 2022. The amount of groups that have come and gone in that time, you know, if I had $1 for each of them, there's so many. People just don't come into this thing with the right approach. Okay, so that's key. The second thing is a lot of people place a lot of weight on engagement, right? Like my group definitely doesn't get the most engagement. My group's definitely not the biggest group. At the time of filming this, it's just under 4,000. We've had it up bigger, we've culled it back, but group size and engagement are definitely not indicators of how much money you can extract from them. Okay, so make sure you're not paying attention to that. And don't be afraid to monetize your group as well. Okay, don't be afraid to pitch to people. Don't be afraid to make offers. Don't be afraid to put out lead magnets. Don't be afraid to use it to the full extent, right? Really use it as a platform to make money rather than just constantly pumping time into it and never extracting anything from it. There is nothing wrong with monetizing if you've got good products and services to sell. Okay, so keep that stuff in mind as we go through this, and let's dive into some more practical and I guess technical tips, all right? So this first one is, I never mind a good purge, right? Like we did this, we did a little one at the back end of 2021. We did a bigger one at the start of 2021, got rid of a couple of thousand people. And there's really no science to this other than to say, if you've got people who have been in there for like years and you don't recognize them, or there's a bunch of deactivated accounts, or there's a bunch of people who like don't even have proper profile photos. It is a manual process. It sucks a little bit, but looking at people who you wouldn't know them from kind of a bar of soap, have a good cull every now and then. Few hundred, 1,000 people, totally fine. You can have a little bit of fun with it. Let people know that you're purging the group, and it can be a little bit of a laugh, and that can actually cause a spark in engagement to begin with. And you know, it's always kind of nice to cull the numbers back, make it more intimate. You've got a smaller group that is just of a few people who really want to be there. Over time, groups bloat out and a good purge from time to time, once every 6 months or so, can be a good way to kind of initiate. And if you're really wanting to go down this path of reviving, that can be a good starting point in terms of giving it a shot in the arm. Like I said, there's no tools really that I know of to do this. It's more of a manual process, but start with the people who have been in there for a really, really long time and never done anything. Like I said off the top, engagement and stuff like that's not an indicator of how much money you'll make. And a lot of people buy who aren't engaged. But if there's people who, if you've been pitching in there for consistently for a long time, and there's people who've like never opted in for an email list, never reached out to you on Messenger, never bought anything after a couple of years, that's where I'd be starting in terms of purging the group. There's no exact data on this that I've seen, but from what I understand, the more active people as a percentage of the overall group size is advantageous in terms of post reach. So removing people who aren't paying attention can be beneficial. But aside from the I guess the algorithm side of it, I just think it's a good way to kind of rock and roll and mark the beginning of a new phase for your group, which we're going to dive into with eliminating people who don't really want to be there or haven't been around. Okay, so that's the first one, is give it a good purge, and it's really just a matter of going through and deleting people. Simple as that. Will take a little bit of time, but worth doing. All right, jumping into number 2, give it a rebrand and a relaunch. All right, so what I mean by this is, give it a fresh coat of paint, give it a new name, all right, give it a new feel. We're going to be talking more about that new feel aspect in a second. But is it still the same group it was when you started? A lot of Facebook groups go through cycles and they go through different iterations and things change and the owner changes. Sometimes like actually a different owner, but they change in terms of what they're focused on, and make sure that it's up to date and current and reflects you and your brand and how you help people and your goals. And even if that's all already aligned, put some new, cover art in there, update the description, update the intro, put a new video in there, right? Just make it feel new again from a branding perspective. And then 2, relaunch it, right? Like relaunch it to your audience if you've got one outside of the group. Relaunch it on your profile, relaunch it on your stories, relaunch it to your email list, relaunch it to your YouTube channel, okay? Just say, we're entering 2.0 phase of this Facebook group. I don't know if I've got it. Here's what we're gonna be talking about. Here's the stuff that's gonna be going on, and just give it a new life, right? You don't have to have a reason for it. Just give it a relaunch. Every so often I'll rename my group and we'll update the cover art. And it always gives it a new feel, and you typically see people come back to the fold. And if you roll that into a campaign, it can be quite lucrative as well. The other benefit of doing this is, groups over time, if you're constantly putting content in there, they can become a bit stale, right? And it can feel, very same after an extended period. So this can help you as well to kind of fall back in love with the process of running the group. And if you come up with a good plan in terms of what content you're going to put in there, or if you're going to do interviews, or how you're going to monetize it, or if you're going to bring on a team to help you out with it, whatever it is, it's a really, really good way to mark a fresh beginning, and a good thing to do after you've just done a big purge. Okay, so I'd roll with a purge into rebranding, relaunching it publicly, which is going to flow into one of our later points. But just give it a shot in the arm in terms of a fresh coat of paint and making it feel new, and building up a bit of hype and excitement around what is to come with your Facebook group. Okay, keeping that long-term mindset at play, and also that focus on monetization. Let people know, right? I'm going to make offers. Okay, and if they're not okay with that, they can leave. All right, so that's the second one. Give it a rebrand and a relaunch. All right, next one. Well, that's where our one from before disappeared. We can delete that. Number 3, there we go. Inject a bit of life and mix things up. Okay, so if we look at these sequentially, inject a bit of life and mix it up. This is doing things like running competitions, right? This is doing things like doing giveaways. This is doing things like seeing if you can get someone who in your niche might be a celebrity and getting them to come in and do an interview, right? Or doing some type of challenge, right? Doing something a little bit out of the norm from what you would normally do, right? Get people excited, give them a reason to want to pay attention. Okay, there's a lot of groups out there that are very same, and if you can stand out and be different in just one way, using maybe one of the methods I've just mentioned or something else, it's going to really, really mix things up, okay? And that would be a great next step after you've done a purge, after you've rebranded and relaunched, then flow into some type of challenge, some type of giveaway, some type of contest, some type of series of interviews or series of content, whatever it is, right? But just roll into something unique and different and, you know, really come back with this relaunch and this rebrand with a bang. Okay, so that's going to take a bit of strategizing before you go about doing it, but it'll be really, really worth it when you've got a group that's rocking and rolling again, and you can start making offers and monetizing it. All right. Number 4, okay, stop being so nice. Right, now what I mean by this is integrate a bit of attitude into your content, okay? There's a very, very real chance that you have some opinions on what goes on in your market that you want to share. And there's probably also a chance that you've, you know, pulled your punches in your content, all right? We're all guilty of this. And whenever we really kind of take the shackles off and let loose in our content and say what we really think, right? And we be a little bit polarizing, and we share our true values, and we share our true thoughts, and we share our true opinions on relevant subject matter to that group, always see a spike in engagement. Because if you're thinking it, right, chances are other people are thinking it, but the majority of them are probably too afraid to say it how it is, okay? So stop worrying about being so nice and pleasing everybody, and inject some personality and some style, all right? If you've got funny stories, if you want to integrate humor, you know, if you want to get a bit more behind the scenes and real world, all of that stuff works, but do it in a way that's truly, authentically you, okay? This is another topic for another day, but a group is a place to pre-sell people on you, your brand, and your business, okay? And a key piece of that being to pre-sell them on you and your personality and your style, okay? It's really hard to do that if you're being very bland and generic and they can't tell the difference between you and anybody else, all right? So stop being so nice, inject a bit more personality, inject a bit more character, inject humor, right? Just really lean into the elements of your personality that make you, and don't be afraid to put your real opinions out there. Okay, you don't need to sugarcoat stuff. Yes, you're gonna piss people off. Yes, some people are gonna get annoyed, but it's fine. They're probably, if they're that sensitive, they're never gonna buy anyway. So what's the point, right? The overarching assumption here is that you're doing this in order to make money. Okay, so I would recommend, you know, stop playing nice, put the stuff in there that you really want to put in there. And there's a very, very real chance that people will resonate with it. They're going to engage more with it. They're going to be drawn more into your brand. They're going to be pre-sold on you. And when you make your offers, they're going to convert at a way, way, way higher rate. Okay. And then one more, get some new blood in there. Okay. Get some new people in there. All right. Now, how you do this is going to depend on where you're at right now. You can either do it organically or you can do it with ads. All right, if you do it organically, you've got 2 ways you can go about doing it. Or I said before, you can do a relaunch. So you could relaunch that to your own audience, be that an email list, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook profile. If you're an admin in any other Facebook groups, any audiences that YouTube, any audiences that you've got in other places, preferably all of them, relaunch it all at the same time and let all of those people know who are following you, hey, we're moving into a new phase of this group. Here's the cool stuff that's coming. We're going to be doing this challenge, this giveaway, this contest, interviewing these people, all right, and relaunch it and get any new blood in there that either hasn't been in there previously or reignite their love of the group. Okay, if it's previously been really active and maybe it's died out. Okay, resell them on the vision of why they were in there in the first place and why they should pay attention and why they should hang around and why they should be turning on the notification bell. Okay, that's another little tactical piece, is if you can get people to turn on the notification bell, then they're going to be more likely to see your content when you drop it. Okay, so that would be organically from within your own audience. The other opportunity you've got is organically from other people's audiences. Okay, so you could go on a bit of a roadshow, right? If you've got some credibility in your market, you could go on a bit of a roadshow, do a bunch of interviews on podcasts and other people's Facebook groups. That'd be really good because then it's native to the platform, you know, on other people's YouTube channels. Maybe they could send it out to their list, bring some value to their audience and have a call to action at the end. Say, hey, we've got this group, it's relaunching, it's going to be awesome. We're going to be covering X, Y, and Z. And if you go to sallysgroup.com, you'll get all the details. Okay, so you could organically go out and get new blood from other people's audiences in exchange for delivering a free training or some type of value to their audience, and then you make the call to action to join your group. Okay, that's not going to get you, I mean, depending on who you JV with and who you partner with, it's probably not going to get you a huge influx unless you team up with like a massive influencer, but it will definitely get you some engaged new blood, and they're going to be people who are really going to pay attention and are probably going to be pretty active because they're coming via a trusted source, aka the person that interviews you or the person that you JV with. They're effectively referring you those leads kind of indirectly, but they're going to be more inclined to pay attention. That is really, really high quality traffic. Okay. The third one you've got is running ads. Okay. So you can either run some ads to a lead magnet and then push the people who download the lead magnet over to the group, or you can straight up run ads directly to the group. Okay. We've done all of these. They all work. If you're going to go down the ads path,
You got to make sure that you've got some kind of monetization strategy in place so that you're getting a positive ROI in the weeks and months that follow the people joining the group. Make sure that you've got a sales strategy in place. You could do any one of those 3 kind of new blood strategies, or you could do all of them and kind of go all out. Regardless, getting some new people in there who are excited to join for this new phase is going to get a lot of engagement, a lot of excitement. And if you mix all of these 5 together, you're going to have a group that, you know, is not dead and is rocking and rolling and can make you a lot of money. Okay, so let's just quickly recap. First thing I'd be doing is purging any really, really old members. You have no idea who they are. They've never bought from you. They've never become a lead, and they're just kind of dead weight in the group. That's going to have, you know, a multitude of benefits that we spoke about. Put some time and effort into a rebrand and a relaunch. Get some new cover art. Make it a bit exciting. Come up with a new name, and let people know that this group is back, or we're heading in a new direction, and this is the stuff that's coming. Get them excited about it. Inject some life. Mix it up. Right. Come up with some unique content, contests, giveaways, all of that kind of stuff. Challenges. And make it a fun place that people are going to want to hang out, and do that with the relaunch, and it'll be really it'll go together really nicely. Once you're beyond that, don't be so nice in your content, right? If you feel yourself sugarcoating stuff, stop doing it. Put your real opinions in there, share your real value, share your real truth, all of that kind of stuff. And don't be afraid of pissing people off, because once you start pissing people off, you're probably going to make more money anyway, right? And then go about getting some new blood, right? You can either do that organically using the stuff that we spoke about, or you can go out, run some paid ads, either to the group or to your list, and then push those people into the group. If you do all of these 5 things, your group will come back from the dead. And then if you use some kind of tried and true monetization strategies, be that direct offers in the group, getting on the phone with people, pitching people in the DMs who reach out to you, that's kind of a whole another topic for another day. But these 5 tips here should really, really help you revive the group. Tackle it with that long-term mindset, and you should be able to convert it into a 6-7-figure asset over the coming months and years. Hopefully you got something out of that one. If you want to join my group and be part of the community, you can click the first link in the description, fill out all of your information, and I'll see you around there. Other than that, give the video a like, subscribe to the channel, all that good stuff, and I'll talk to you all in the next one. Cheers.